column-oriented databases. Okay. So today's learning objective is about understanding of HBase, that is a column-oriented database, and NoSQL database, that is a database management system for distributed massive amount of big data. Okay, NoSQL, these are the databases for the massive amount of big data that is stored on the cluster of machines. Okay, so NoSQL is a database management system for massive amount of big data, and we are going to learn one of the type of NoSQL database, that is HBase, and HBase is a column-oriented database. Can anyone tell me what are the different types of NoSQL databases? You can reply on chat or you can unmute and answer me the question. What are the different types of NoSQL databases? Neo4j, MongoDB, Firebase, etc. MongoDB. Rachel is saying MongoDB. There are four main categories that you have to study as per your syllabus. So I'm
Graph
asking about that.
based,
Yeah,
graph based, column
graph.
based,
Hmm.
document based, and key value based.
Yes, this was a very basic question. I just wanted to know whether you have understood that much also or not. Okay. NoSQL ka, there are four types as per the syllabus. There are four architectural patterns. They are nothing but architectural patterns. As per the syllabus, there are four architectural patterns, and mostly in every paper, 10 to 15 marks of questions are asked on architectural patterns. You have to explain at least two architectural patterns, or one in detail, or four overall. Okay, so depending on the type of the question, you need to go into the depth of the answering of the question. Okay, so it is overall 10 marks of weightage for the architectural patterns, and there are four types: key value, document store, column based, and the graph store. And key value, we have taken the example of Amazon DynamoDB. I have taken one full lecture for Amazon DynamoDB, then one lecture on MongoDB, that is document store, and today's lecture is the lecture devoted for column oriented database, that is nothing but HBase. Okay, so have you understood? Today's objective is to learn about the column oriented NoSQL database, that is HBase. Okay, so we'll see that um, here this NoSQL databases may we have gone through what is NoSQL, CAP theorem. CAP is consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. As per the Brewer's theorem, he says that any distributed system, we cannot a distributed system, we cannot follow all three. We cannot provide all the features of all three things. That is consistency. We cannot provide consistency, availability, and partition tolerance, all three at a time. We have to compromise on one of the factor. So if your database can be providing at least they can provide two features properly, and they have to compromise on the third feature. That is either they can provide CA or AP or CP. Okay, so that is about the CAP theorem, and then we have seen that volume, velocity, variability, and agility of big data. Because of that, we have to go for NoSQL databases, because RDBMS cannot support you all these features because of the big volume, high velocity, they cannot perform very well. So for transactional type of information or transactions information, we have to we have to use RDBMS. RDBMS is always there, but RDBMS is there for any transaction to happen, because for transaction SCID properties are to be followed. Atomic, a transaction should be atomic, then complete, then independent and durable. That is, its information should be permanently stored into the database once the transaction is happening. It should maintain the database in a consistent state. Transaction should happen overall, otherwise rollback should be done. If it is incomplete, it should be so like this transaction, we have to be careful, because it is something which is related to money and transactions are happening. So the data should be in the consistent state. And so SCID properties are provided by RDBMS. RDBMS can provide you SCID properties, and NoSQL, it cannot provide you SCID property, but it can follow something called as a CAP theorem. And CAP theorem is either it can be consistent and available, or available and partition tolerance, or consistent and partition tolerance. And in one of the factors, any distributed system has to compromise, because NoSQL means it is operating on the distributed environment. So at the bottom we are using Hadoop kind of architecture. In NoSQL databases at the bottom we are using Hadoop kind of architecture where multiple clusters of machines are there and your data is distributed. So in the distributed environment, either you get consistency and availability, or consistency and partition tolerance, or availability and partition tolerance. Okay, any two of this will be provided by your database. Okay, so have you understood about this RDBMS and NoSQL? RDBMS is still needed for performing a transaction kind of queries, while NoSQL is used for analytical kind of queries. So what you do is that if you are having your website like Amazon, then in the day of time, full day of time, your transactions are happening and they are happening on the RDBMS, and at a particular time of 24 hours, that data is brought into the distributed environment and it is stored there. And like this, the data, every day's data is stored onto the distributed environment. And then whenever you need some analytics, that time you fire the analytical query on this NoSQL database, which is the database of last 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, depending on your requirement. Okay. So so for transactions we need the RDBMS for storing the transactions. So in the previous lecture, I told you for key store databases that Amazon, what how it is handling this millions of users is that it is using the combination of RDBMS and NoSQL databases. So for RDBMS, what it does is that whenever you do buy operation, when you click on buy, and actually whenever you are performing your payment, that time everything is stored into the RDBMS kind of database. But when you are browsing through the website, then your session information is stored into Amazon DynamoDB, where the session data is in the form of key and value pairs. And even your shopping cart information can also be stored into the DynamoDB kind of database, where your product ID is a key and the value is the amount or the quantity. Okay. So have you understood? Actually, I'm just creating the background because many of you were busy in the placements, and we have done two dedicated lectures on key value and document store databases. Okay. So what I'll just summarize it again, and then we'll start with the current today's learning objective, that is about edge base. Okay. So RDBMS is needed for transactional kind of information or transactions performance for your application, because your transactions need ACID properties to be followed, and RDBMS provides you ACID properties. But NoSQL cannot provide ACID property. It can guarantee you about the CAP theorem. It follows the CAP theorem. It guarantees you that it can provide any two of the features of distributed architecture, like consistency and availability, or availability and partition tolerance, or consistency and partition tolerance. Okay, so the website like Amazon website may use the combination of RDBMS and NoSQL databases. Whenever you are performing your transaction of buying any product, that time RDBMS is used in the background to store the transaction details. But whenever you are browsing, because your 95% of time on the Amazon will be for browsing, identifying the product, seeing the features, adding it to the shopping cart, and then performing the buying operation. Okay, so for such kind of operations, they are not using RDBMS. They are using Amazon DynamoDB, where your session information कैसे store होता है? Session ID and the value, and session username and uska value. So it is key value pair. So Amazon DynamoDB is more suitable for that. So it may be using Amazon DynamoDB, which is the key value store. Key value is a type of NoSQL where you store the information in the form of key and the corresponding value. Okay, so it is using for storing your session data and for storing your shopping cart ka information. It is using Amazon DynamoDB, that is a key value store, which is very simplest kind of NoSQL database, where you store everything in the form of key and the corresponding value, key and the corresponding value, and the operations you cannot perform any SQL operations on that. You just get the value for the key, put the key value pair in the database, or search or get the value for the key, or update the value for the key. So only simple operations are there, and no SQL data, no SQL as such. Okay, so let's move on to the today's topic, that is about the NoSQL, that is about learning of column store databases. Okay, learning for column store data store. The example is HBase, and we are studying HBase, so I have kept this logo of HBase on every slide. Okay, I am preparing my own slides. I'm not taking slides from anywhere because I'm referring multiple books, multiple websites whenever I'm creating the slides. I've kept this logo of HBase on every page. HBase is the example of columns oriented database of NoSQL. Okay, so the third type of NoSQL is a column store. And why the name column store? Because we can extract the column. We can extract the entire column as it is. While in RDBMS we extract the row. Okay, here these are the examples below here, and at the bottom I've kept these examples which are visible continuously. That RDBMS is a relational database management system. The examples of Oracle or MySQL, while NoSQL column store databases are HBase, Cassandra. Cassandra is a NoSQL database used by Facebook, and HBase is a product after Google's Bigtable. So Google is also using Bigtable. Bigtable is also a type of such kind of data store, and by taking this idea from this, HBase is invented, and it is now the open source um, by Apache. Okay, so it is Apache open source project, HBase, which is a column oriented database of NoSQL. So I think you have understood what I told you right now on this particular slide, that NoSQL ka third type is a column oriented database, and the example of column oriented database is the HBase. And Facebook uses Cassandra, which is also a column based database. And HBase is invented by following the idea of Google's Bigtable. So now I just want you to know what is exactly meant by a column oriented database. Okay, so before going for the features of HBase and architecture of HBase, let's understand what is meant by column oriented database. Okay, so you can see the table here, customer table. Okay, now in this column oriented database, it looks similar to the table of RDBMS. Column oriented database is when you visualize it, or when you see the table in the format like rows and columns, it is looking similar to the row oriented database. It is little bit similar, but only from a storage point of view or architecture point of view there is a difference. And because of that difference, column oriented database ka major feature is that you always have to remember, the major feature of column oriented database is that it is giving you high performance for big data. RDBMS ka performance, RDBMS will become very slow if your size of the data is increased. But column oriented database का major feature है कि it is giving you high performance for big data. That's why it is very famous, and it is a column oriented database. Okay, so let's see the difference. Suppose there is a customer table, and you want to store the information about the customer ka ID, name, address, the product which he has purchased, and the name of the product. So you may have a table with all such information. Now, in case of RDBMS, it is row oriented. Row oriented means that you can access the entire row at a time. You can access the entire row at a time, and the elements of one row are stored together on the hard disk, because your tables are residing on the hard disk, and when you access the data is accessed from the hard disk. It is brought back into the memory, and it takes time. So what they have done is that all the columns are stored sequentially together on a particular block of your disk. So whenever you are accessing any row, then all the columns are retrieved. Even if you fire the select query, if you fire the select query that select name and product name from the customer table, for customer ID is equal to suppose 5, or for all the customer IDs. Okay, you say that select name comma product name from customer, means you want all the names and all the product names. So what will happen is that it will retrieve all the rows, and for from all the rows, it will retrieve this one ABC, Mumbai 12, and laptop, everything, because this everything is stored together on the hard disk, so that you can retrieve the entire record fast. It has its advantages as well as disadvantages. Advantages means, suppose you want to operate on this entire record. This entire record is accessed at a time. So if you want to perform any operation on the record, and you want to create an object of customer in your object oriented program of Java, through Java, if you are accessing this particular table and you want to get the entire customer object, and then you want to perform something on that, then it is usable and then it is okay. But suppose you are interested only in the name and the product name, then unnecessarily all other three fields, 1, Mumbai, and 12, are retrieved. And then you have to filter the data to display or to consider, and then you will operate on that. And if the size of your data is huge, petabytes of information, and plus indexing is used here in case of RDBMS, so in that case, your performance becomes very slow for big data, for relational management database systems. Okay, because you access everything in the form of a record, entire row is accessed. So it is called as a row oriented database. RDBMS is a row oriented database where you access the entire row at a time. Okay, but that is not the case with the column oriented database. Column oriented database where you access the entire column at a time. Okay, just I'll show you the diagram here. Okay, see the diagram first here: row store and column store. So in case of RDBMS, you will access this entire row. Suppose you're accessing this row, this is stored in such a way, and you access the entire row, first row, second row, third row, fourth row. So all the record, entire record is accessed. So it is suitable to modify or add a new record. This row store databases or RDBMS is suitable to add or modify the entire record, but it might read unnecessary data. Suppose I'm interested only in the name and the order number, then unnecessarily city and country and ID is also retrieved. Okay, so it might read unnecessary data. So it becomes slow. That is the disadvantage, and that's why it is not suitable for big data. And then people thought about it, and they thought that most of the time I'm interested, once the data is stored for analytical kind of queries, I'm interested only in particular column. I may not I may not be interested in the entire record. See, whenever you are doing any transaction, you are adding this entire record. So that time RDBMS is suitable, because you are adding a new transaction, new row or new record for your database. So in that case, row store is more suitable and RDBMS is more suitable. But once the data is present, the data is available, transactional data is there, you store it in the form of NoSQL at at night, at particular some amount of time. It will be there in the NoSQL type of databases, and it can be used in future then. Okay. So in case of column store, your columns are stored together. All the columns for every row, all the columns are stored together, and they may be in the form of a file. So every column may have a dedicated column file. Like for NoSQL databases, everything is stored in the form of a flat file with all the data, separated by some separators such as semicolon, such as comma. Okay. So in case of column store databases, your all the information of the column, all the column elements are stored together. Okay. So this all IDs are stored together, all names are stored together, or all cities are stored together. But all this information is associated with something called as a row ID or row identifier. Okay, so the table has a row identifier, and everything is stored. All the columns are stored together. All the columns are. So you may have 5 different files, a file dedicated for the column. But I'm using the term as column, but really, actually, it is a column family. So whatever is there in a column family is stored together in the form of a file. Okay. So I think by looking at the diagram, at least you have got some understanding about row store and column store. Row store में you are storing the entire record, entire row, and you access, read or write the entire record at a time. So even if you are interested in name and order number, you may retrieve all the columns for the row, but you will filter out and you will just consider only name and order number. So unnecessary work is there and it slows down the system. But in case of column store, all the for a particular column, all the values are stored together. For the name column, all the values are stored together in sequentially in a particular file. So you may have five different files stored at five different places, depending on how the data is divided and distributed. Okay. So in case of column store, whenever you want to perform any operation on the record or on the tuple, then in that case it will be taking multiple. It will take much time because then it will have to access your hard disk for multiple times. Okay. Here the problem is about the hard disk access. You are accessing the hard disk and getting the data into the memory, and then your program is operating on that data. Whenever you are operating on any data, it is actually in the hard disk in the form of rdbms. You bring it into the memory and then you operate on that, and there is a time for disk io operation. So in case of column store, if you have to consider all the columns, then in that case it will have to perform multiple read access at multiple disk locations. Then it will take time. But whenever you want to, but most of the time, once you store the data, you don't want to update the data, you don't want to write it again, you just want to read. And for reading, if you are accessing multiple columns only, then it is very, very suitable because you can access all the entire column. Okay, the record will not, so other parts of the record is not affected. If you are interested in name and order number, you're just accessing all the column values here for name and all the order values for all the, means order number for all the rows and name for all the rows can be accessed at a time quickly because it is stored in a sequential manner. This is stored in the form of, so we'll see this again. See one more example here in the form of a diagram. In case of row oriented, the rows are stored sequentially in a file. So you store the data will be stored like this one, then this bugs, bunny, NY, zip, phone number, age, cells for the first record, then semicolon, and then two. Whenever you want to do the serialization and you want to store it in a file, then it will happen sequentially. The first row all the records, then second row all the records, all the fields, then third row all the fields. So if you want to access all the states, okay, if you are interested, if you want all the distinct states, then how it will happen? It will access the first row, it will take this first state, then second row. So unnecessarily it is traversing through all this data and it is reaching every time after traveling all these things, and then it will get the next state. Then again it has to go. So it is reading like this. Or if you are firing a query there where you want to get only those records which are in between 300 to 500 or 200 to 500, then it is reading this information in the sequential order like this. It will go here, it will start from the first record and cells 100 टाइम ये neglect करेगा, then second row 500 it will consider, then it will go to the third, then 200 it will consider, fourth 10 is not considered, 250 it is considered. So then it will retrieve 500, 200 and 250. Okay, so it is occurring like sequential access for serialized if the data is stored in the form of a serialized manner. Okay, but column oriented may here like this, each column is stored in a separate file. Actually, it is a column family, but sometimes the term column or column family is used um, interchangeably depending on the type of the table that you are creating. So here there is no column family created, so all the columns are there only. So we are saying column. So each column is stored in a separate file, and each column you have the row ID. So everything is stored with respect to the row ID. And there is a dynamic schema possibility also. You don't have to have all the columns present in all the rows. One row may have only three columns, other row may have five columns, the third row may have only four columns. So you have all this kind of flexibility. Okay, so any doubts? If there are any doubts, please unmute and ask. Okay, so let's see now. Whenever you have to write answer, I'm preparing the slides in such a way that you can refer them to as the ready-made notes while preparing for the final exam. So from your final exam point of view, I have prepared the slides. And as we are having this distant learning, if you are having everything in front of you, written information, it's easy to understand. So that's why I'm writing everything on the slide. Okay. So we are having two types of databases, row-oriented and column-oriented. And HBase is a type of column-oriented database, and it is a NoSQL data type. It is not a RDBMS system. It is suitable for distributed data. Okay. So in case of row-oriented database, it retrieves the record in the sequence of rows, and it may read unnecessary data, which I have told you right now. But here it will record the sequence of columns. It will record all the columns. It will store all the columns together, all the columns together. And so the columns are stored in a contiguous location. So let's see how it is stored for this particular customer table. For this customer table, if you want to store the information in case of row-oriented database, it will be stored like this: 1 comma ABC comma Mumbai comma 12 comma laptop semicolon then 2 XYZ, like this. So both the records in a sequential manner, and two records are separated by semicolon, and the fields in particular record are separated by a character like comma. Okay. It may not be exactly the same separator character, they might be using something, but I'm just taking the example. While here for column oriented database, the data is stored in this manner. All the column values are stored together. So 1 comma 2, both the column, all the customer IDs are stored together. All the names are stored together. Then all the addresses are stored together. All the product IDs are stored together, 12 comma 30. So they are stored in a sequential manner. We can access them fast. Then all the product names are stored together. Okay, and everything is associated with a row ID. Okay, there is some ID generated internally for every row, and all this data is associated with a row ID to identify and retrieve quickly. Okay, so this way it is true. Now here the data is in the structured format. For row-oriented databases, it is a relational database management system where the data is in the structured format. You define the schema in advance, and you have to store everything into the rows. Suppose you don't have value here for any particular thing, like address is optional, and the customer has not entered the address here. In that case, it will have the null value. So even if it is having a null value, that much memory space is reserved, and it is vested. Okay. But in case of column-oriented database, it is data is in the form of petabytes. The size of the data is too huge. It is in the form of petabytes, and such kind of storage mechanism is advantageous to access the data fast. Then this row-oriented databases, they are suitable for OLTP kind of operations. That is online transaction processing, which I told you just now. That for transaction, every transaction should happen in a proper way and it should follow SCID properties. Otherwise, your system will fail and it will give you wrong results. So in that case, RDBMS is more suitable, but this column-oriented databases are suitable for performing online analytical processing, where you want to perform any analytical query and your data is in the form of structured or semi-structured format, and it is a sparse matrix system. Sparse matrix system is you have a huge data and the data may multiple fields are blank. Multiple fields are blank means lots of null values are there. If you try to visualize from RDBMS point of view, there are multiple non-null values are there. Okay. So in that case, uh, uh, this column-oriented databases are more suitable because you are not going to allocate any memory for that. Nothing means no memory allocation. Okay, because it will allow you to have semi-structured documents where some of the fields are present and some of the fields are not present, and you don't allocate the memory for that, and you save the memory. Okay, so I think at least you have understood how the data is stored. In row oriented, you access the data record by record, and everything related to a record is stored sequentially. So on a particular disk block continuously. So you access the entire block and you get all the information. of a record. And then if you are interested only in few columns, then other columns के लिए you have to do the filtering, and you consider only whatever data you need. But here in case of column value, unnecessary data is not retrieved. If you want only name and product name, you can retrieve only these two columns. And all the elements of one column are stored together. Okay. And internally they are stored in the form of a file. One column, one file. And even that file can be distributed. Okay, so this was about row-oriented and column-oriented databases. Now, see the structure of HBase. So, for understanding the structure of HBase properly, I have created this table. This is an example of a table of HBase, because there are multiple column-oriented databases, and there might be some difference in column-oriented databases. Now, we are considering the case study of HBase. In case of HBase, like here, the customer is there, and this is the personal information about the customer. So, in the personal information of the customer, we have the name of the customer and his city and country, and then his transaction related information, that what are the products he has purchased. So what I can do is that for this customer ID will be the primary key. So it is advisable to have a primary key for every table. This column oriented database is looking like a RDBMS database. It looks like that, but there is a flexibility for this particular row. You may have this column family present, and for the other record, even if this column family is not there, it is allowed. Okay, so there is a flexibility. You can have for particular field some information present or absent. It's not a problem. It is allowed, and it is a flexible schema. So it is a semi-structured document actually. Okay, but for we can categorize this information of the customer. So we can have two different column families. For this particular example, we can have two different column families. We can have the column family one as a customers, that is used to store the personal information of the customer, his name, address, phone number, email ID. And the other column family is about his transaction or products which he has purchased. Okay, so you may have two different column families, and one column family is made up of multiple columns. So customer name, city and country, and email, all these combined together, all these columns are combined together in a single column family. And the product name and price is in this particular column family. So it depends on you. Like you can have multiple different columns without column families, or you can have columns logically similar columns combined together in a column family. But when you say that you are having a column family, then the information within this column family is stored sequentially. Then here how the information will be stored, uh, all the customer IDs are stored together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then all the information about the customer personal information is stored together. So how it will be stored? That Sam Smith, comma, California, US, comma, then Arjit Singh, comma, Goa, India, comma, like this it will be stored. So the columns of a particular column family are stored in a sequence, uh, but all the things which are there in this column family are in a particular file. Okay, so and every column is uniquely identified by a column qualifier. Is the name of the column. So a particular cell can be uniquely identified with the help of row ID and the column qualifier. And every cell is associated with the timestamp. Okay, so important information that I'm telling you right now is about the timestamp. So every data is associated with the timestamp. Timestamp means date and time combined together. Is added along with the information about the cell. So a cell may contain three information. Row ID. Every row is having a particular row ID internally created, which may be in the form of a string or a number. And so every cell is uniquely identified with the help of a row ID, column ID, means column qualifier, and the timestamp and the value. And so if you are having multiple timestamps, then you can keep multiple versions of this data. So suppose today you are having this price as 500, and in the next version, or you update this information, update this row, and this 500 is changed to suppose 1000. Then with respect to the timestamp, all this information is stored. So it is like the database is created in such a way that at a particular time you can retrieve whatever the information was there. So it can record all the changes also which are happening on the database, and you can retrieve the state of your table at a particular time instance. Okay, so that is also a big advantage of this database. Okay, so here the tables data is stored in the form of a table. You call it as a table only, and the row has a row key to search, make the search fast. Then column families contain multiple columns, and elements within the column are stored sequentially. So they can be accessed together in a single seek operation of disk. And column name is called as a column qualifier, and the cell is used to store the actual data, and it can be identified with the row key, column qualifier, and the timestamp. So whenever the data is stored, it is stored in the with respect to the timestamp to store multiple versions of value over a time. Okay, so multiple versions of the values are there in the database, and you can retrieve them whenever you want. Okay, this was about the structure. Once you understand the structure, now you can understand about the features. Because in the exam, you need to write down about HBase ka features and the table ka format. So it is based on, this HBase is based on Google's Big Table paper. It has studied Big Table. People have studied Google's Big Table, inventors of HBase, and they came up with this HBase database. It is similar to Big Table. Tables are similar to RDBMS, but they can handle semi-structured data. If the data is not present, if it is a sparse information, sparse matrix, then the memory is not allocated for the values which are not there. Because in case of big data, most of the data is not available. So only few items are there for every record. And column-oriented databases primarily work on columns. Every column is treated individually. Every column is a separate entity. They work on the columns. They can retrieve the entire column. You can fire the query to retrieve the entire column. Data model is a collection of column families. One column family is a collection of key value, where key is the row ID and value is the set of columns. Okay, column family, I told you, no? Column family is a combination of columns. So a column family can be accessed by using key value, where the key is the row ID and the value is the value of all the columns of that particular column family. Okay, and it is so indexing is done with the help of row key, column key, and the timestamp. Then the values of single column are stored continuously in the form of a column specific file on a particular data node. Okay, one data node may contain that particular column specific file of your Hadoop cluster. Then in column stores, query processors can work on the column, so you can retrieve the entire column too. So what is written over here is the way you need to write down the answer for this question in the paper, university paper. Then all the data within each column, they are of the same type. Okay, so here there is no flexibility for having different data type for all the elements of a column. One column, you understand that if the one column is of integer type, data type, all the elements of that column will have the integer as a data type. Okay, so why it is made? Because then it is ideal for compression. If you want to compress the entire column, you can compress it efficiently. Okay, so one column, if you say that the customer ID is always an integer, all the customer IDs will be of integer type. Okay, so here there is no flexibility, but there is a flexibility that some of the rows may not have some of the values, and if the values are not there, then you don't have to store them anywhere, not even null. Okay, and you can retrieve the entire column because everything about the column is in the column specific file on a particular data node. Okay, so data within each column will make it ideal for compression if they are having the same data type. Then this column store ka, this is the major advantage that I told you in the beginning only. HBase, if you say HBase means high performance on the queries because you can fire the queries on specific column. So high performance is the major characteristic of HBase. It gives you fast result. Even high performance for aggregation kind of queries, count, sum, average, min, max, such kind of queries are quickly executed by HBase. And they give you fast result compared to RDBMS. RDBMS will take a huge amount of time if your data is huge. It will become very, very slow. And the most suitable applications for column oriented is that for data warehouses and business intelligent applications of CRM, customer relationship management, or library card catalog management kind of applications for where you need to access the columns. Even in library, you might have seen that you need to access some columns from the table. You are not always looking at all the columns of a row or a record. From the record, you just want to access a particular column. So these are the best applications of column oriented databases, CRM, customer relationship management, and library card catalog, where it is very, very suitable. And these are the other examples of column oriented databases. This is about column oriented database. That HBase, Bigtable, Cassandra, SimpleDB. These are the types of HBase database. So I think only 5 minutes are left. Here, see this table where the rows and columns are there. And if there is any null value here for RDBMS. So the memory is allocated because everything is stored with respect to this record. New record with all the memory is allocated. Integer के लिए जितना चाहिए, varchar के लिए, boolean के लिए, और date के लिए, all this memory is allocated and given to this particular row. And null के लिए भी memory will be vested. But in case of this column-oriented databases, you are having this entire family is stored together, and it is having only one column, so the value is there, and this can give you the reference to the next column. Okay, so this everything is stored in a sequential manner in a particular file, and this everything is stored in a file. But here only one value is stored, and that is pointing to the next column. Here only this column is stored with the value, and this is absent. Okay, or in the row C, this column family one column is not there, and only this particular column is there. So such kind of flexibility is there that you can have the value for the column. If you don't have the value, then it will not be stored in that particular file. And every value is associated with the row ID, so you can get the information. Whatever is written here below, these are the features of NoSQL that I have discussed in detail in one lecture. That so they are applicable to all NoSQL databases. Like for it is a fault tolerant system for massive sparse data. Data is horizontally scalable. Replication is done, so the data is available for 24/7. Schema less, so less flexibility is there. Distributed consistency is maintained, and the read write atomicity is there. Okay. So because this follows C and CP. Okay. So open source non-relational, HBase is open source and non-relational database. It is modeled after Google's Bigtable. It is running on the top of HDFS. It runs on the top of HDFS. Below that, HDFS architecture is there. Name node and data nodes are there. And along with the HBase processes, it is working on the top of HDFS. It is written in Java. HBase is written in Java, so it works very well with Java APIs. You can write a client using Java API, or even you can write REST APIs to access this database. REST, you know, the service-oriented architecture, the representational state, representation state. REST APIs are there to access anything via internet. Okay, so it is good for semi-structured and structured data, provides fast lookup, exceptional performance for real-time response for the analytical queries, and internally it uses hash tables to store everything. So row key is hashed, and then the regions are identified, and the data is stored by using hashing techniques. So random access is provided, while HDFS doesn't provide you random access. HDFS is for sequential access of a file. But here, because of the hashing mechanism, you get the random access, and the data is stored in the denormalized fashion. Because denormalization is also having its own advantages. We do the normalization for RDBMS, and we thought that normalization, because of the normalization, we it's the best way. Always we should normalize. But now for the big data, because of normalization, everything will become slow, and denormalization also have its own advantages. So everything is stored using denormalized data, and it contains wide and sparsely oriented populated tables. Tables are sparse tables. Lots of data is not present. So why to go for RDBMS where the data space is vested? And it supports automatic partition. Okay. So this is an example of Cassandra user profile table, where these are the three users in blue color. These are the names of three users. First user is having email address and age stored in the form of, this is the field name, column identifier. Email address is a column identifier, and this is the value. So key and value. It is stored in the form of key value, and it is a list of key values. So one row, Cassandra is the ID for the row, and for the information of Cassandra is in the form of key value. Okay, and so here email and age is there. Here email and gender is there, and age is not there. Here email and age is there, gender is there, address is there. So like this, you have flexibility in your schema. It is not compulsory to have all the values. Okay, so as the time is over, this architecture ka one slide is remaining. I think you must, so we'll see that in the next lecture. Right now, okay, so we can stop here because it's already 10 o'clock. Okay. So only one slide is remaining about HBase. So tomorrow we'll see this HBase ka remaining architecture ka slide, and we'll start with the new data store, that is Neo4j. That is graph oriented database of NoSQL, which is used for storing our WhatsApp kind of information or Facebook information, where you are a person and you are the node in the graph. And in Neo4j is a very good example of graph-oriented NoSQL database. So tomorrow's lecture is for Neo4j. So don't miss the lecture. And please be attentive during the lectures. Make a habit of getting up early in the morning. Okay, so thank you.